Region Review.
The Ragin' Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Ragin' Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Ready? Who's your team ready? Who's your team ready? Yes, sir.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Ragin' Review. The boys are back to talk baseball, to talk softball. I think we had a little track action to talk about as well because the Cajuns track teams did very well over the weekend. Josh, Lane, I am Nick. Want to first, of course, as always, thank our fine sponsors who make us possible. Wardmaster, Dr. Brett Venable with Acadiana Chiromed, Lafayette Roofing. Don't forget, if you had some recent storm damage in the flooding and bad weather that you've had in Lafayette, be sure to give Lafayette Roofing a call. Eat Lafayette and Ragin' Hydration, all part of the Ragin' Review sponsor network. Thank you all for being a part of us. Boys, let's talk about the upcoming game against Arkansas State. And before we get into specifics about Arkansas State, they played a pretty close series with Troy this weekend. In fact, that last game is still in progress. They're actually leading Troy 5-4 at the bottom of the 8th inning. So we're going to talk a little bit about Arkansas State coming up in a few days. Of course, it's going to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series because the Cajuns will be participating in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, as will all teams that qualify. But Josh, let's first talk about where we are at this point of the season. We had some good weekends and we had some not so great weekends, but let's talk about the toughness on the team going into Arkansas State, what that should look like for this upcoming weekend, and your thoughts just in general. We've had coaching concerns and things we've talked about, especially, even when we've played teams like Old Dominion and who else have we played recently? Old Dominion, we played Troy earlier in the season, but a lot of teams that we've played, we've had some concerns. Let's talk about where we are at this point in the season going into Arkansas State next weekend.
I mean, where are we at this point in the season? Our pants around our ankles and bent over?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah,
that's where we are. Man, that was a nice intro. So I had to think about how I was going to answer the question. Arkansas State can actually pitch a little bit. If you look at their conference numbers, especially ERA, they're in the top. Team ERA is in the top 5 or 6. I can't remember exactly, but they can pitch much better than they have been over the last 10 years. Since we've been playing at Montgomery, they haven't made the conference tournament. So they actually have an opportunity to do that. So
let's look at those stats right now. I mean, you have a good point. I mean, they've got a couple guys who can throw the ball there, right?
Yeah. In particular, the starting pitching has been pretty good for them. Look, they're in a good series. I know they lost the series to Troy, but they're in a good series and they've been competitive the whole weekend. I know we have them at home, which obviously benefits us. But if people think this is the Arkansas State of old, they're just going to walk in and we're going to walk over them and dominate them, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, we're going to have to play baseball to win.
But going back to where we are at this point of the season, we've had some great weekends. We've had some that didn't quite work out. We had one series where we were swept. I don't remember where that was, but we were swept in conference this season at some point. So, when you think about that as a whole, where we've played really good against certain teams and other teams we didn't play good against, let's talk about consistency. Let's talk about the lineups. Let's talk about, over the last 3 weeks, Simo hasn't really been out there as long as we like to see Simo, and we know he's having some soreness out there. I think Bab mentioned that before one of the games. At one of the games in the past month, there was some rain at some point that seemed to affect how our pitchers were throwing. Can't really put my finger on which game that was, but we've had some issues the past few weeks. Just kind of talk to me about where we are. I mean, you don't feel like we have a really consistent lineup. I think we started trying to put it together, and then at some point these last few weeks, I think Donkey got hurt, so that's been unfortunate. But Josh, let's talk about that. It's just been up and down for us, and going into Arkansas State, we're trying to hold on to that number 4 seed in the tournament. We got to play a lot better baseball than we have in the last month.
Well, we're actually going to be tied. I think we're tied with Old Dominion for 4th right now.
I think so. I think didn't we sweep OD, or did we beat them 2 out of 3? I think we have the lead on them on there. Yeah, we beat them 2 out of 3 on the road. So we technically have a lead, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously you want to keep that 4th. You want to keep the 4th seed to be the home team. Man, look, this is really difficult. This is a hard episode to do. I'm pretty upset. So I'm going to try to keep it between the lines. The pitching staff has been all over the place. We've dealt with injuries just like every other program has. We've dealt with youth just like every other program has. We have very few frontline arms. We learned a lot over the last couple of weeks. We have very few frontline arms, and even some arms we thought we could rely on late in the season. It turns out that that's just not true. So pitching is up in the air. I absolutely hated. I mean, I don't know if there's a single decision I agreed with how the pitching has been used in the last 10 days. I mean, we played a game today, and you had statistically your best starting pitching from an ERA standpoint, your best starting pitcher ERA. He throws 6 outs worth of baseball, and you pull him because he gave up some hard hits. Did anybody else see the offense we played this weekend? Of course they're going to hit the ball hard. So we pull him in, and then we decided to Johnny Allstaff it. I guess it was going to be 2 innings a pop. What the hell are we doing?
Well, I mean, I think we're going into the biggest series of the conference slate next weekend against Arkansas State, Josh. Maybe that's what we were
trying to set up the rotation, the old rotation.
Jerry, go ahead, Josh.
Well, I was just going to say that somebody asked about Chase. Chase, like I've been trying to tell y'all without saying it, he's been dealing with some stuff, and he was on a pitch count. So we kind of knew that. You saw that he was a late scratch on Friday. There was a reason for that. Yeah, it was the rain, but also, there's some other things that are going on. So, I still hated the moment when they pulled him. I said, look, I get that the kid's on a 50, 60 pitch count. I just hated to pull him right there after you gave up the big hit. I just respect the kid. Let him get the outs. It wasn't like he was throwing meatballs. The Eagles were hitting the baseball. They were hitting good pitches. He wasn't just offering them up. And he had his good stuff. He missed with a few pitches, sure, but you got to tip your cap to the other guy sometimes. And I just hated the way they yanked him right there. And that goes into my comment about how we've made pitching decisions lately. You can't sit down and say with any amount of common sense from a fan standpoint, well, this made sense in that particular situation. I'm sorry. I don't believe that.
Totally agree. Jerry, your thoughts on the last few weeks of baseball and where we are now going into Arkansas State?
Derek Carr retired yesterday. That's my comments on that.
Oh, dude, we do need to get into that.
Yeah, because I just think that
you didn't watch the games.
I don't like. Oh, I watched every game. I just don't like the fact that we have momentum after 10 games and then we just run into a buzzsaw and the team looks unrecognizable. What bothered me most this weekend was, how many errors did we make with the infield? We can't even field ground balls. Did we just all of a sudden did basic fundamentals of fielding just magically go away?
Well, Jerry, let's talk about that as a whole. This entire season, we've not been great.
No. Don't get me wrong. It's been bad. Okay. Yeah. But for it to happen all at one time, it reminds me of the Angels in the outfield scene in the beginning where George Knox basically flips over the food table and he basically says, I want everybody here first thing in the morning because we need to work on fundamentals. That's what Matt Deggs and that coaching staff should have said after this game, where like, I want y'all back on the practice field tomorrow because we need to learn how to field ground balls. I mean, this late in the season, I don't care about youth. I don't care about, where we might be as a team with the inconsistencies. This is Division I college baseball. You're supposed to be one of the premier programs, at least in the country, and you can't field ground balls. And on top of that, you can't field ground balls against teams that can take advantage of that. You elongate our pitchers' pitch count, which they were very inconsistent on the mound this weekend. And then on top of that, you put them in a predicament against a team that can hit the baseball, and you get what you got this weekend. So, no, I mean, I'm more upset at the fact that we had quite some momentum going into this series, and we just basically washed it all away with bad fundamentals. That just can't happen. I'm sorry. I don't care who you're playing. You could play a team with a 250 RPI. I don't care. You can't make errors like we made errors this weekend. And
you say that, Jerry. But that's what we have done. That's why Josh was getting frustrated over the last couple of weeks over stuff like that. And I was like, we are who we are, bro. Like, but not at this rate, though, Nick. Not at this rate. I mean, we had 3 errors yesterday in the first 2 innings of the game off of basic ground balls. We can't field ground balls, man. I don't remember that. I don't remember who he played this weekend. I mean, I appreciate you for watching it. I don't know who we played. Josh, just go loose, man. I know you've been holding it in. Just let it go.
Here's the thing, dude. Look, it's not even about this point in the season. It's not even about at this rate. It's not about that. It's about every ugly man dresses up well. You can get a haircut, put a suit on, and you can look good for somebody's ceremony. We couldn't show up against a team that we fancy ourselves a rival with, that we play on the same footing with, we say it goes back and forth between them and us for this conference. And usually it does, throw Troy and Coastal in there on the east side. But the West usually runs through Hattiesburg or Lafayette. It looks like we fell off a cliff compared to that team. And look, I wanted to show this Juju guy says, we lost a first-round draft pick and have 3 or 4 freshmen in the lineup. Relax. No. It's not how it goes, dude.
Bro.
In 2025, you have to be able to turn the roster over every year. Do you know what Southern Miss lost this year? Do you know what they lost the year before that? I mean, I don't want to hear we lost a first-round draft pick and we have 4 freshmen we don't have 4 freshmen in the lineup. That's not even true. All right. I know that Galt is an everyday guy. And you got Griffin Abear that's in and out of the lineup, and there's a few others. Wright also it's in and out of the lineup. This is not about that. First of all, they're not freshmen anymore. We're at the end of the season. These guys have plenty of ABs under their belt. They have plenty of pitches under their belt. This is not about that. This is a different era in college baseball. If you can't keep up, USM is about to go to their 9th straight regional. We got erect because we went to 3 in a row. Big freaking deal.
Hey, Josh, by the way, what did Blaine Lucas do yesterday and today?
Well, I think he got 3 hits today, didn't he?
He got 3 hits today. He hit a homer. I think he's for sure got 2 last night. He had the 2-run homer that kind of got us going. And then he had another base hit later in the game. And where's he been all season? Sitting on the bench.
Right. Well, look at Dino. Unless Dino was hurt and we don't know about it. Like, a month and a half ago, they put him in the lineup. We started scoring runs. Why did it take a season to figure that out? But this obviously we don't have all the information. We're just, all we do is I've missed a home game in 20 years. We follow this program like it's a religion. We pay attention as much as anybody else. We're just asking questions that it becomes obvious after a while. And
but I think
still have no idea how to manage a freaking pitch.
But I think also at the same time, you have to say the other team that we played this weekend is really, really good, right? I mean, I think we can all agree with that.
I thought they were a nice team.
They were a nice team, right? I think compared to us, though,
at the plate.
Compared to us right now,
they're in a nice swing offensively. There's some cohesiveness to their offense. They do not mistake pitches. They are playing good baseball. I actually was impressed. They played better than I thought they were. I still think they're a nice team. This is not an unbeatable team, and we looked completely and totally dominated. Completely. Well, at no point, even when we took the lead, early in games, at no point did you feel like, oh man, like there's no way they could come back.
Yeah, before you go, Jerry, I want to say the point I was trying to make is you do have to give credit to the guys in the other dugout because obviously they executed when we didn't. But at the same time, you know, you look at missed opportunities, you looked at errors that we made that led to runs and extended innings. You look at you know, pitchers that couldn't pitch in the rain. I mean, it's just, you didn't see that cohesiveness, and I think that's a good word, Josh. You didn't see that cohesiveness on one dugout. You saw it in the other dugout from the other team that we played this weekend. Go ahead, Jerry.
You can't field ground balls. You elongate innings against a team that can hit the baseball. You get up in a pitch count where I don't know if we had the mental toughness in the field. And then on top of that, we talk about youth. Look, were we young in the last 10 games going into this weekend when we were 8-2? Were we young when we went to ODU and run ruled them? Were we young when we took care of business last weekend on the road to Georgia State? You know, we can't. I understand we have a fairly new roster with some new talent that we haven't had in the past, but it doesn't change the fact that you can't make 10 or 11 errors in a span of 3 games off of fundamental stuff. I don't care how young you are. And on top of that,
youth is an excuse.
All season long,
these
right?
guys have played baseball their entire lives.
You're in
like
game
you start
50
making
or
basic
53.
errors.
Yeah, you're in game 53 and you can't field a ground ball to the shortstop, or you can't field a ground ball to second base. You're letting the ball bounce off your glove. That to me, I mean, it's not like, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You know, we got some hard grounders hit to them, but at this level, in this day and age, at the collegiate level, you have to learn how to field ground balls. Whether you're a freshman, a senior, it's your first time on the field. This is basic stuff. This is not, you know, that's the frustrating thing is, you know, when you're giving other teams opportunities to compound on your mistakes, it's because of your mistakes. And so that's what was frustrating for me again today. We couldn't, I mean, again, 3 errors yesterday in the first 2 innings. You're not going to beat anybody like that. So that's, I mean, look, again, we had momentum and I feel like we lost a lot of it because of fundamental stuff. I mean, that's just, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. And as far as, you know, I mean, our entire season has been a roller coaster ride. You know, we
Has
like
it?
to,
Has
yeah,
it been
like
roller
No,
coaster?
it's not.
It's been
actually.
bad.
I was
Well,
gonna
look,
say-
Roller coaster.
But
We've been on a downward trajectory.
it's look, we were 8-2 going into this weekend, and
We
then
played bad
earlier-
teams, Jerry. We played 200 RPI teams.
Josh, you played Southeastern on the road and had 4 hits and lost 7-1. You got swept by McNeese. You
Yes,
lost to
exactly. You
Utah,
confirming what I just said.
Texas Rio Grande,
Been
and then
bad.
you. But you just said we beat bad teams. We were losing to bad teams. Then we back them, and now we're back to square one. So yes, it's been a roller coaster ride of a season, but it doesn't change the fact that we should be at this point. I don't care how young we are. If you look at our 27 losses we have now, or 26 losses, a lot of those losses are against teams that I thought we were better than. You know, I mean, you shouldn't have lost a series to Monroe. You shouldn't have lost a series to Texas State at home, but we did because of not enough fight, not enough energy, and that just can't happen. That just can't happen where we are right now. And unfortunately, then I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I look, Arkansas State gave Troy all they wanted this weekend. So that's not going to be an easy, that's not going to be an easy series. And it's a shame for me to say that. Arkansas State, like, I'm worried about losing the series to Arkansas State on our senior weekend at home. I mean, that's just, we shouldn't be here right now. We shouldn't be here right now, guys.
I love the whole they're young, you know, we're young thing. Just for one, this is one player, and they have others that I can name, but this is one player. Ozzie Pratt was the way he transferred last year. All he has is like 50 RBI from the 9 hole for USM. How, you know, what transfer is doing that for us? Like, we can't compare ourselves to this program and then come in here and be like, oh, it's a rivalry and it runs through Lafayette and Hattiesburg. They are reloading. There is no time to rebuild anymore. This is a made league. This is a good league. If you're going to compete, you got to do it every single season. This whole idea that we're young, I know that we were starting younger guys. It's game 52 or 53. We're not young anymore. You know, I used to love
game 10, 15, you can say we're young. I agree with you there.
I used to love it when they would say, oh, you know, we never play well at home when we do the graduation ceremonies because it's a distraction. They had that this weekend. You know, I heard way too many excuses in the post game about how it was raining and they should have called the game. And, you know, there was some stupidity from our coach saying just excuse after excuse. And then he would come back and cover
I
for
love this
himself
fan
because
base, man. Super classy.
it's just ridiculous. The things that it's like, you know, attitude reflects leadership. And y'all know how I feel about the leadership on this team. And And I'm talking about from the coaches, not from the players. But we lack leadership from the players as well. It needs to be better because this was a completely and totally unacceptable performance. From everything was disappointing, from the fight to the response to the ability to hold them down when we actually did have an inning. Was there a single inning where we scored a run and they didn't respond immediately? I don't think it happened the entire series. I think we made 8 errors on the weekend, and we talked about this. We talked about this on the pre-show, Nick. There was one formula for the Cajuns to win this weekend, and it was starting pitching, don't commit errors, and get clutch hitting. We did none of those things, with the exception of Blaine Lucas's bomb, and then Stelly had a very nice weekend. You gotta give a shout out to Stelly. I know Higgs had some hits and got on base 5 times today, but where were the power numbers? I needed slug from the middle of the lineup. You didn't see that. We scored some runs and gave ourselves some opportunities, but as soon as we felt like we were kind of getting some breathing room, here came Southern Miss. And it was dumb things like throwing away a double play ball or just sloppy, lazy defense, just lack of motivation, lack of fight, lack of response. And that's just not something that, especially from a Degs team, it's just not something we're used to, man. It's hard to watch. It's hard to accept. And like you said in the text messages, we're in game 50 or whatever. This is who we are. And while I know you're right, and while I agree, I did think that they would show up this weekend. If you can't show up in Hattiesburg, you can't show up. That's kind of where I've landed. And I said this out on Twitter. I said, one thing great about playing Southern Miss every year is that it provides clarity. It lets me know how good you are or how good you're not. And this was like a complete and total walkover this weekend. And I don't clip it, whatever y'all got to do. I know y'all are still in here. But the fact of the matter is that it's time to be honest, and maybe Bug hitting the windshield for everybody to see is the best thing that can happen for this program right now.
Here's my question: what'll change? Nothing. I mean, you feel
what
like
can change. What can you do?
You feel like some certain people have checked out at this point.
Well, you better go. I'll tell you this: you better go in the offseason and go change. I know we tried to get a lot of those freshmen last year. You better go find some JUCOs and some portal guys that can come in and step in fast, because we can't have another season like this. We can't. I know we still got some baseball left to play, but again, going back to getting swept by McNeese and only getting 4 hits against Southeastern, losing 7-1, and losing to Texas Rio Grande Valley, and losing all these teams that we shouldn't lose to, losing the series to Monroe. I mean, that can't happen again. That can't happen again. And all these excuses about, well, this happened, that happened. Look, man, we've heard enough of that with the basketball program for 5 or 6 years. We're not pouring that into our baseball program. All right. Our baseball program is a much higher, not even they used to, because I know basketball has high standards now, but baseball is a high standard. We can't allow this to be okay and expect, oh yeah, it'll be fine. No. They're going to have to go hit the drawing board in the offseason and go find some players that can fill in those roles fast for next year, because I'm going to tell you, next year is not going to be any easier. This conference is not going to be any easier next season.
And it does happen. And look, appreciate the classier fans like Cloverleaf. I know I poked the bear all week with some of their fans.
His content's great. Look, I got nothing but the love for Cloverleaf.
I deserve some of the stuff that I took, and some of these assholes who were throwing personal insults, hiding behind fake profiles. You go ahead and throw them, dude. That really does nothing for me. But in the end, I think the thing is, for me, is you expect, like, we talked about this. You're promised a product, and you're promised Evangeline made bread, and you're given the Walmart bread, right? Like,
great
it's
value.
Not, like, you can't expect to get the good gumbo of Lafayette and then get the gumbo that they serve at Ward's. It's just not. I mean, it's not the same. You can't expect to get the same experience when you're promised one thing and you get the other. So, in all seriousness, I think it's just, again, I don't know. I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I'm not shocked. I'm not.
You're not surprised even a little bit that they showed up and played like that? Come on. Even a bad team can hop up and get you. When you play, it doesn't matter how bad you are. When rivals get together, they show up. They do. And this team, and look, I hate to say it because we've gotten to know so many of them and some of their parents. And look, I'm not trying to make it personal at all. I'm just saying it is shocking to watch a Cajun baseball program show up in Hattiesburg and look that bad. That was bad. And it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing to watch a bunch of guys that we root for and have invested in and follow them play, their career and everything. It is just disappointing to see that at its most pure human form. It just
outside of the second inning. I mean, second innings this weekend, we were blowing it out of the ballpark. If we ended the game in the second inning, we sweep.
I said, but look, I said last weekend or last week, I would have been happy, even though I predicted us to go 1-2, and I would have been happy. Look, if we would have taken one, and at least the other two losses would have been like, one or two hits or one or two plays that would have made the difference. Because at least we would have known we battled. Friday night, we got 3 hits all night. Yesterday, we get run ruled. Today, we go off 5 runs and we get outscored, 9-1? I mean, come on, man. And how does it happen? For the 50th time, couldn't field ground balls. Pitchers getting behind the count. Our field, I mean, even in the outfield, our outfield I feel like they didn't, I mean, outside of maybe Mandino in right field, I mean, even in the outfield, we weren't really, getting under the ball too well on fly balls. I mean, it was just, our at-bats, we were striking out looking again. We were not putting the bat to the ball again. It's just, that's what frustrated me. I mean, look, 2 years ago, we went down there and lost the series 2-1, but at least I knew we battled every game. Every game I knew we were in it. To this this weekend, I mean, even today, going up 5 runs, we weren't in it. Once they made it 5-4, I said it's over. It's over. We're not coming back from this.
I knew it was over, and Josh, we talked about this because I called you out on something. And I appreciate this comment. Don't tweak about Friday. Middleton is the truth. Look, Middleton's great. A healthy, non-banged up SEMO is just as good, bro. I mean, he is an All-American pitcher, right? So the fact that when we started tweaking our lineup to have to move him to Saturday scared the living daylights out of me, because SEMO is always a guaranteed, like he's going to go pitch per pitch, and couldn't do that in the rain. And then you saw, we pulled him early on Saturday, 1, because he was on a pitch count, 2, because it started raining, and then it was downhill from there. You felt like that kind of took the momentum of the series and the excitement out of it, because I really wanted to see a Middleton healthy SEMO battle, and we just couldn't get that this season.
I want to respond to Deshaun real quick, and I know, look, I think he's a former player for them, and I think basketball, if I'm not mistaken, big follower. But I do want to make a comment about this. Look, there's no doubt that they're the better team, but at the same time, 100%. again, what bothers me isn't the fact that they're the better team. What bothers me is the fact that, like Tony Robichaux always used to say, we got to worry about us. What I'm worried about, again, is we're going into game 53 or 54 on Thursday, and we can't field ground balls. We can't field ground ball like that. That's what bothers me. Look, again, if we go into these 3 games and we lose all 3 by 1 run, you know what? It sucks, but okay. But then again, you can't even field ground balls. You spotted. I mean, how many runs did we give up walking batters home yesterday? Like 4, 5, something like that. I mean, again, you could play one of the bottom 10 in RPI in college baseball, and you'd still lose games doing that. That's what bothers me. That's stuff that we can control, and we didn't. And by the way, I'm sorry, D. I thought you were a basketball player for some reason. I must have misread it somewhere, but nah, big fan.
That's where people aren't listening to what I'm saying. Nobody's saying that you guys didn't play under the same weather. I'm saying, 1, we couldn't pitch our All-American pitcher on Friday night because I know, but this is the comments. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. We didn't pitch him because of the weather on Saturday. On Friday, and on Saturday we pitched in rain, and our pitchers could not deal with that. It doesn't mean that you guys, the USM pitchers did deal with that, and that's fine, and that's great, and more power to them. I mean, obviously, yes, they play better than us this weekend, and they have a solid team. However,
even with all that
disappointing,
said, he was not sharp the first and second inning. We had him. We would have scored 3 or 4 runs off of him in the first and second inning. We didn't get the hit with the guy at third base and nobody out. And then, they did throw away that bunt. So that was one thing. But easily could have been 4-0 or 4, whatever it was at the time, 4-1, 4-2. Middleton is a good player. He's statistically very nice. Anybody who thinks that Chase Morgan can't hold Middleton stock is a freaking idiot.
This guy?
You're a moron if you think
he's
a freshman All-American.
Oh, he's cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
mean,
Super
Texas
cool.
looks
Doesn't know
Texas
ball.
State in a regional, dude. You need to sit down. You don't know ball. You don't
Well,
know.
let's be honest. SEMO's been battling injuries this year. Okay, 100% SEMO.
That was a 70%
This is
SEMO.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Se-
That's a
Semo's
stupid. That's a stupid comment. And just
Yeah,
move on.
SEMO was preseason All-American. He's not he's been hurt this year. So if he was 100%, I guarantee you he would be a lot better than what we're seeing right now. And even what we're seeing now, he's pitched pretty well through the injuries. But no, to your point, I mean, isn't that why we played SEMO yesterday instead of Friday because of impending
That's
weather?
what I said. Yeah, because of the
right.
weather, his injury, we don't want him
kinda
to
knew
get
that.
hurt. Yeah.
We kind of knew that. Yeah, it is what it is.
Lane, you've been quiet there. I know you're barbecuing, man. Smart idea instead of being on here fully engaged because it's just a bitch session for
Yeah, the
us.
sun
but
came out. Look, Lane, it's a metaphor. The sun came out. It's all good. Life goes
it's actually beautiful here, man.
on. Oh, Arkansas
Y'all
State
know
beat Troy.
the scene in the Alien movie where where Will Smith holds up that thing and you forget about everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The little pin. Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing on
That's
the
a good
weekend was the Derek Carr retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derek Carr retired, man. We got to talk about that in a little bit. I think we said all we had to say about the series. Look, honestly, again, great job by Southern Miss. They did a good job. Disappointed in their attendance. I know they had some weather Saturday and Friday, but they talk this like we are the biggest rivals that they've ever had in anything. And today it was quite honestly a little bit disappointing. They stands looked half full. So, I got to get that attendance back in because they like to talk it for us for no reason. But no, kudos to them, and I'm sure the hospitality there was great. I think they had a certain account this weekend, the Rugrats. Go get them some tetanus shots, bro. Like, I don't know, man. That's tough. Having your kids face down in that muddy water that's probably sewage water run out from somewhere. Just go ahead and get them checked out. But look, kudos to them. Wish we could have played better. Wish we could have been more competitive. But wish those guys well the rest of the season. Josh and Jerry, I'll let you put final thoughts on this one, then we'll move on to other stuff.
Josh?
Go ahead.
think
My
Josh-
computer's freezing.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Not our rivals. I have to disagree with that. Look, the last time your basketball arena had a sellout,
That
was
is
against
such a
us.
stupid. That's what I'm saying. Like, I appreciate folks like Destiny that come
Let's
on and
be
talk
honest.
shit.
Yeah,
I
let's
expect,
be honest. If
but
you were to ask,
not a rival, yeah, okay.
come on,
dude.
man. If you were to ask your fan base, who would you consider the biggest rival in the Sun Belt? I would hope that I would think it would be us, right? I mean, let's be real. Let's be real here. And look, as much as I hate losing this weekend, I mean, I'm gonna say it. I'm glad we found a rival in ourselves with them because compared to South Alabama, I don't know about that. I doubt it. Compared to ULM, I mean, at least it's exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that comment.
They're
no,
just
as far as-
trolling you,
They
Jerry.
think
Move
South Alabama's
on.
rival to them.
It is what it is. No,
Shocking.
look, man. Again, this weekend, learn how to field ground balls. Don't get behind in the pitch count. Get back to fundamentals, man. If you want to have a good weekend against Arkansas State, you got to get back to fundamentals, no matter who you play. So now they got 3 games to get it right before the conference tournament. But that was tough to watch this weekend. But it is what it is. Brush it off. Get ready for Thursday night against Arkansas State at home.
Josh, final thoughts.
We are not good. Ready for it to be over.
Good point. Well, we'll get in depth on the Arkansas State series coming up in a few days. We'll talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about softball, guys. I know exciting stuff there. Unfortunately, the softball team that swept Hattiesburg last weekend, they were eliminated from the conference tournament. This weekend, lost to Coastal Carolina, who advances to the NCAA tournament by winning the conference tournament. I mean, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because there's not really a lot to say. They got eliminated and we just got to move on. But, for you guys, I know some of our fans are super excited about the selection show tonight and thinking that we're going to get in? The answer is no. Jerry, Josh, am I missing something? I mean, Lane, that's not going to happen, right?
No. I think I think fans are holding out hope just because we've been in the NCAA tournament the last 25 years. But I don't. Had we won another game, I think there might have been a possible shot, but I don't think we're getting in this year.
It's tough, man, because this will be the first time in almost 3 decades we're not in a softball regional. This one stings a little bit because even in a bad athletic year, you always had softball to kind of rely on to make sure that we pulled through to get in, at least make a postseason appearance and see what we can do. Sometimes we've made it to supers and sometimes Oklahoma City. I mean, I think we have 6 appearances in the Women's College World Series. But what's frustrating is, you look back at our season this year, and look, first of all, I want to say before anything else, to Coach Allie Habits, her staff, and the 7 players that came back, I tip my hat off to you. With all of the crazy circumstances that happened last year, with the majority of our team going to places like Texas Tech, the Texas Tech Raging Cajuns who won the Big 12.
Raging Cajuns West.
Yeah, Raging Cajuns, UL Lubbock. But it's frustrating for that because of NIL and everything like that. And it really put a damper on our program. But at the same time, you look at some of the losses we had this year, and we blew some big leads. We blew some big leads against some good teams. And unfortunately, it just, I felt like if we would have held on to some of those leads, at least 4 or 5 of our games, things might have been a little bit different. The record might have helped a little bit. The RPI might have helped a little bit. But in a situation like this, you live and you learn. And hopefully now that Coach Allie and her staff have a full off season to kind of regroup and go get some talent, whether it's in the portal or junior college or wherever, I think that'll help for next year. We do have some talent coming in. So I think we're going to be fine for next season, but it hurts a little bit. It does sting because, again, it's almost 30 years of regional appearances, and we've done some great things. But, all good things must come to an end. But I know we'll be back. We'll be back next season, and, not too worried about it. I mean, this softball program is one of the premier programs in the country. So I have full faith that they get it done, and we'll be okay. But it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird not seeing us in the regionals next weekend. But it is what it is. You brush it off and you move on.
Just want to point out, 35-30 against us in baseball. Not competitive though. Not at all. No. Super cool comment, dude. Anyway, let's go back to Cajun sports and the track team. Do you have anything, Lane, on what track did this weekend? I know they had a meet, and I know you're at a barbecue right now. By the way, what are you grilling, bro?
We're grilling chicken thighs, pork steaks, boudin, the Cajun specialties. So, but I want to say the track team won several events, including the 4x100 or 4x200. They won several other events. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, and we're going to put, in fact, I'm going to need you to help me do that article because I want to go ahead and get that info out there because I think it's important to highlight, sports that don't get as much attention, even though, people tell me, Josh, that, oh, you're into track. Well, yeah, dude. Oh, esports. I think I played with some of your esports guys, student on, I'm a gamer. Of course I'm a gamer. I'm a nerd. That's kind of what I do. But some of those Georgia Southern guys, and I played with some of the Eagles guys too. Good people. Sorry, Josh.
That's cool that they've done that. That's cool that they've been able to do that. And I think it's like the last 10 years, esports has really become a huge thing.
We're making fun of them, Jerry. We're making fun of them.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Screw those guys. They're stupid.
I'm just saying, it is a big, look, you see, y'all are all worked up.
Who's worked up? Jerry, you're
so
just trying to get on their good.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, you're just trying to.
I'm so past it, man.
You're going to get on your
Can't be
burner.
past it. We're doing a show about it.
You're going to get,
we're talking about it.
No, you're going to get on your burner later and light all these people up that are like, I love Jerry.
No.
Okay. Jerry's so cool. Yeah. Because you don't say shit.
No.
I don't even play Rocket League, by the way. I don't know what that means. I'm Call of Duty guy. So.
Ooh, Rocket League's fun, actually. But I haven't played in a while. It's been a while.
Jerry is Destiny. Don't no. What?
Do not encourage
Pure
him.
is not the right word, dude. Do not encourage it. It's called being a boomer. DM me. I'll give you my gamer tag. I think Lane disappeared, so we're gonna skip over track, but I promise you we will get to track in one of the articles coming up. I know you guys are waiting for that, but again, I think it's important. I don't care what you play on campus. If you're a student athlete, you need to be highlighted. You need to be promoted, and hopefully we can do that. Lane, you're back. What's up, buddy?
I'm having issues with the sound for some reason, but let me check.
Yeah,
They won the 4x4.
don't worry about it, bro. The
Making that guy do that on his phone. That's so wrong.
like volunteered it. Lane, give it a rest, bro. Give it a rest. It's okay.
Every
It's
time he
all
goes and looks at his stats, it goes black.
It's like when I'm on FaceTime with my mom. Every time it goes black, are you still there? I can't see you. I'm like, Mom. I'm like, dude, I'm texting. Hi, Lane. Yeah, don't worry about the stats, bro. We're good. We'll get it. We'll get it for the article.
I'm sorry. The call cannot be counted.
I do want to go around the horn and ask, I did appreciate the other team this weekend allowing some of our players to say hi to mom, especially Jose, man. He loves his mama. I got to tell you, and being from Panama and being here, it's tough for him to be able to communicate with them a lot. I don't know that he's seen them a lot. So that was really cool and appreciate seeing that. So want to ask you guys, what did you all do for Mother's Day, whether it's for your mom, whether it's for your wife? Because, it's just me and a dog and a PlayStation. So I have a mama. You guys, what did you do for your loved ones? And Jerry, I'll start with you for Mother's Day this weekend.
Yeah, so yesterday, Mom and Dad came by the house to watch Allie. Kayla went to a birthday party. I went to a crawfish boil. So they had some. I basically gave the little one some time with her mama and T-Paw, her grandparents. So we gave Allie drew a picture for my mom, and we gave her a picture of her that she took from daycare that's framed, and gave her a card from all of us. And then that was yesterday. And then today, Kayla, and Allie went to church this morning, and then we went to Bonefish for brunch. And now I'm about to hop off pretty soon to go do some more dad duty while Kayla gets her to-dos done. So
Destiny, by the way, Destiny, stay away from RC. He has crabs and not the kind you want to boil. So stay far away from RC. Sorry, Jerry, had to point that out.
No, it's fine. And then I had Allie drew a picture for Kayla, and we gave Kayla her Mother's Day gift this morning. So it was a good Mother's Day weekend at the Hebert household.
Joshua, what y'all do for Catherine this weekend?
We'll be celebrating next weekend. We had some stuff going on this weekend, so we pushed it to next weekend.
Not too bad.
We're going to ask next weekend, by the way. We're going to ask what y'all did. So,
Lane, what'd you do Mother's Day weekend, bro?
Just hanging out with friends. My mom's in Texas, so I didn't get to drive all the way out there. It would have been a 6.5 hour trip one way, so it was a little tough to do that. So I'm just hanging out with friends, and we're grilling and watched a little bit of the game earlier, but wasn't really paying attention to it.
There you go. My mom got a video from Randy Travis this weekend. I got her a little video that Randy and his wife told her. The coolest part of that was at the very end, his wife said, "Nick loves you forever and ever." And then it's Randy Travis saying amen. And, he can't really talk much. So that was really cool. So did that for my mom, and she's going out to my sister-in-law's and brother and sister-in-law's house for dinner. And I hope she's not watching. She's not a great cook, but we're not going to tell her that. It's bad. Anyway, all right, guys, before we go, I want to give you any last thoughts, and then we'll call it a night. God forbid my sister-in-law is watching. Josh, any final thoughts before we call it a day?
I normally go last. You caught me off guard.
Sorry. Well, Jerry, go first. Go ahead, Jerry. What you got?
Thursday night, the Teague senior weekend. I'll be there. We'll see what happens at this point.
All right, Lane, any final thoughts?
Hoping for a good final weekend in college baseball to get ready for the tournament. but we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, don't have too much hope there, but we'll see what happens. Josh, I'll let you cap it off, then we'll call it a day.
Well, I mean, I think everything that needed to be said was said on the field this weekend, today and Saturday and Friday. So there's not really much I can say about it. Not good. Not good. I'm worried. I'm worried about where we're at right now. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, sadly, I told you I don't want to say I'm ready for the season to be over. I know that was something I may have suggested earlier, but
I am. I'm ready.
It's exhausting, man. This up and down stuff is tough, and it is what it is. Shout out to all the fans from that city down there that have engaged with me this week. It was a lot of fun. I don't take Twitter too seriously, but screw all you assholes who made it personal. No, yeah, you guys suck at life, and I hope you die in a fire. Everyone else, you have been super cool, so appreciate you, and it's always fun going back and forth with you folks. So anyway, like, subscribe, and be sure to share our website, our podcast, all the stuff that we're doing. We got some cool stuff coming up this summer. Excited about that as well. And once again, want to thank our sponsors, Dr. Brett Venable and Acadiana Chiromed, Award Master Lafayette Roofing, Eat Lafayette, and Ragin' Hydration. For Lane, for Jerry, for Josh, I am Nick. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. For all the ladies who are mothers, have a wonderful rest of your Mother's Day. And until next time, as always, go Cajuns.
If you like your long necks blue, I'm like you, raising hell.